Hi dear students, welcome to S4 Sharanya Science classes. Today we are starting a new chapter of class 11 biology, that's actually biological classification. In the first chapter, living world, we have discussed about what you mean by living, non-living, right? What is their features, what are that taxonomical categories, right? Hierarchy of classification we have discussed, and what are the aids, taxonomical aids that is actually help for that classification system and all, right? So in this chapter we are actually going of that slight introduction, not at all introduction, some more detail of that biological classification, the system of classification, what are the main system, who started the classification, right, who are the scientists who have given contribution to that, right, and what are the classification system, right, different kingdom and some of their features that we are going to discuss majorly here, right. In this chapter we are going to discuss about kingdom Monera, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Protista in detail, and kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia we are actually going in separate chapter, right. So that we will discuss there. So but in the other three kingdoms, kingdom Monera, kingdom Fungi and kingdom Protista, and also virus, viroids and lichens, right. So these all things are we are going to discuss in this chapter. Okay, this is the first session of this chapter. Here we are giving a slight introduction of that classification system direct to the class. So here, who started that classification system? The first scientific basis, right? So that means more scientific attempt of classification was started by Aristotle. Aristotle actually is a Greek philosopher, right? So thinker, we can say that he was a thinker, right? So he was a thinker, he was a Greek philosopher. He started the earliest attempt of classification. We can say that his classification system is more scientific, right? And he actually classified the entire plant group into trees, shrubs and herbs. Herbs means small plants, right? Shrubs, some more, right? The bushes like that. And trees are the tall plants, we can say that. So the entire plant he have classified into three categories: herbs, the small one, shrubs, and you can see that the trees. That was the classification system. And he classified the animals, that all animals into two categories with red blood. That means animals having red blood and those animals which is not having red blood. So with red blood and without red blood. Again he classified that those animals having red blood, that means which is including that mammals, birds, lizards and some of fishes, right. There were so many mistakes in this classification system, but this was that first starting, that means more scientific approach they have started, at least some have to start that, right. Then the other scientists actually modified it, right. So this was that those mammals, all the mammals, those organisms including mammals, birds and lizards and fishes, they are included in this system, that means this category, those organisms with red blood. And those organisms without red blood, again he divided into their body, whether it is hard bodied, then they are coming under insects, right. So the insects are coming under this category, that's actually later it named it as arthropoda, right. So here the insects, all the type of insects which is having a hard covering, outer covering is there, then they are in that without red blood hard bodied category. And those who are having soft bodied, then that means without red blood with a soft body. Again he classified the soft bodied into whether they are having shell or not, that they doesn't have any shell, right. So again those who are having shell, then shellfishes are coming under that, right. And if not shell is the jellyfishes and all, they are coming under this category. This was the classification system of Aristotle, right. So we can say that Aristotle was the first, right, who have given more scientific basis of classification. After that so many scientists came, but we are only learning that more scientific one only, right. So you can see that more again, right, if you are further more scientific basis actually given by the father of taxonomy, right, that's actually the Linnaeus, Carolus Linnaeus or Carl von Linné, right. So we can simply say that Carolus Linnaeus itself, he has given that two kingdom classification system approach, right. Here what they have done, here the entire living organism is classified into two categories. That's why it is known as two kingdom classification, right. Two kingdom, one is the animal kingdom and the other one is the plant kingdom, right. So kingdom Animaliae, right, and kingdom Plantae. That was the Linnaeus classification. Total two kingdom, entire full living organism into two kingdom only. those who are coming under plants and those who are coming under animals. So kingdom Animaliae and kingdom Plantae, right? But here you can see that looking the kingdom itself, only animals and plants are there. There are so many other groups are there, microorganisms are there, fungi is there, they all, even you can see that if you are taking simply plants itself, there are minute microscopic plants are there, right? And like sequoia, eucalypts, like tall plants are there. Can they category under same? No, not at all possible, right? The same like that. There are so many small ants, right? What will say flying, that insects are there, and large blue whale is there. Can they categorize under same category? No, that's also not at all correct, right? There is some problem is there, some problem of this classification. That means it is actually wide classification system, but still have so many drawbacks, right? So what are the major drawbacks of that? We are only discussing the major drawbacks. So there are so many drawbacks for this two kingdom. One of the major drawbacks are prokaryotes and eukaryotes, right? What are the prokaryotes? Those who are having primitive nucleus, that means well defined nucleus is not at all there. Cell chapter we have learned that, right? And those who are having well-defined nucleus, they are known as the eukaryotes. Both are categorized, right? Both are included under in the same kingdom, kingdom Plantae, right? For example, you can see that the prokaryotes such as bacteria and cyanobacteria, the blue-green algae, they are coming under prokaryotes, right? And the eukaryotes such as fungi, mosses, right? Thallophyta, ferns, pteridophyta, gymnosperm and angiosperms. All together they have included, who? Linnaeus have included them in kingdom Plantae by which is only one character he had noticed, that's actually they all are having cell wall. Because of the presence of cell wall, only one category, one actually character he noticed that these all are having cell wall, right? So those who are having cell wall, he that are made under the category into that kingdom Plantae. But they have enough difference. But their features are that much. We cannot say that they are having any similar feature. Only they are having cell wall. But that cell wall is actually entirely different. Fungi cell wall, if you are discussing, that's actually made up of chitin. But you can see that bacterial cell wall, that's actually lipoprotein, right? So you can see that their nature is bacterial cell wall, right? You can see that NAM and NAG, right? So that N-acetyl glucosamine and N-acetyl muramic acid, their composition is entirely different, right? So you can see that that layer, there is in bacteria, you can see that glycocalyx layer is there, right? All these layers are there. We have discussed in cell chapter the prokaryotic structure. If you haven't gone through that, I will put the link of this prokaryotic structure in the description. Go through that once again, right? So here you can see that those organisms having cell wall, because of the presence of cell wall, these organisms, whether they are prokaryote or eukaryote, both, right, have put into one category, that is actually the kingdom Plantae. But they are widely different in their features. That was the first drawback. The second drawback we can see there, here there is no difference between unicellular and multicellular. Both, whatever it is, whether they are unicellular or multicellular, he classified into one category, right? Whether it is Animaliae like Protista, right? Protozoa, right? Amoeba, Paramecium, and whether it is human being and all animals. Amoeba, Paramecium, they are unicellular eukaryote, and in the other case, all animals are multicellular eukaryote, but they are categorized in one category, right? Whether it is plant, right? Unicellular algae, Spirogyra, Chlamydomonas, and multicellular algae like Spirogyra and all, they all category in kingdom Plantae. So that's also a major problem. Unicellular, multicellular, all under one category, right? Other one is that there was no differentiation between heterotrophic fungi and autotrophic green plants. Again, in kingdom Plantae, right? Kingdom Plantae, we already told that it is included bacteria, cyanobacteria, fungi, gymnosperm and angiosperms. They are the plants. Here, the fungi, it is a heterotrophic fungi. But in the case of plants, you can see that they are autotrophic, right? So they are autotroph in nature. They make their own food, right? But both are categorized in kingdom Plantae. So that's also another problem. So there are so many drawbacks, but these are the major drawbacks of two kingdom classification, which was put forward by Linnaeus. So we have discussed about two kingdom classification. Two kingdom classification, which is proposed by Carolus Linnaeus in that kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animaliae, right? After that, there come the three kingdom classification, which was proposed by Ernest Haeckel. He actually introduced one more new classification here, new kingdom, that is actually kingdom Protista, right? After that, these all simply name only we have to learn, right? After that, the 4 kingdom classification was proposed by Copeland. He introduced another kingdom, that's actually the prokaryotic kingdom, kingdom Monera. All the prokaryotes are included in the kingdom Monera, right? After that, the most accepted classification system, still we are following the system, that's actually, right, put forward by R.H. Whittaker, right? So R.H. Whittaker, Robert H. Whittaker, right? So R.H. Whittaker, which was the 5 kingdom classification. In that classification, actually first one was kingdom Plantae and Animalia. After that, the third kingdom came, kingdom Protista. After that, kingdom Monera. Now one more kingdom, that is the kingdom Fungi. So total 5 kingdom, right? The first lineage, kingdom Plantae and Animalia. After that, kingdom Protista put forward by Ernest Haeckel, right? Kingdom Monera by Copeland and kingdom Fungi by Whittaker. So total 5 kingdoms are there in 5 kingdom classification. Robert H. Whittaker, right? R.H. Whittaker put forward this classification, 5 kingdom classification. After that, there is 6 kingdom classification, which was actually put forward by Carl Voss, right? He actually divided the entire kingdom Monera into 2 categories, Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So total 6 kingdom is there, not counting the kingdom Monera. How it is actually 6 kingdom? Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. These are the prokaryotic, right? So 1, 2, remaining you can see that the Protista, 3, 4th one the Fungi, right? 5th one the Plantae and 6th one the Animalia. So total 6 kingdoms are there. So this is put forward by Carl Voss, right? Now here in this lesson we have to learn about the 5 kingdom classification in detail. What are that basis of their classification system? What are the characteristics? What characters they have considered for their 5 kingdom classification, right? So Whittaker's considered some special features, right, such as cell structure, right? So what is the nature of that cell structure, whether it is what we say prokaryote hai or whatever, whether it is eukaryote is there, and their thallus organization, the level of their body organization, how their thallus is the body, right, how their body organization is there, right? So that he considered, and their mode of nutrition, how they are, whether they are autotrophic, heterotropic or simply absorption, right, or simply holozoic mode of nutrition, whatever their mode of nutrition, that also he considered. Even he considered whether they are sexually reproducing, asexually reproduction, right, vegetative production, what are the method of reproduction. And also he considered very important character, that's actually phylogenetic relationship. What do you mean by phylogeny? Phylogeny means evolutionary relationship, right? So that means whether they are having any connection, right, whether they have any evolutionary relationship, what is their relationship with the ancient organism, that also he considered. That's very important for the time being, right? So these are the different what will say that basis of their 5 kingdom classification, right? So cell structure he considered, thallus organization he considered, mode of nutrition, what is their mode of nutrition? This is one of the important character for their 5 kingdom classification. And also he considered about reproduction and their evolutionary relationship. Evolutionary relationship always known as, otherwise known as phylogenetic relationship. So these are the basis of 5 kingdom classification. So here we are going to discuss the different characteristics of 5 kingdom, right? So we have discussed that there are different kingdom like kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia, right? So they have different characteristics. What are they? What is the difference in different kingdom? That we are going to discuss. The first character we are going to discuss here, what is their cell type, right? So kingdom Monera, you can see that they all are prokaryotic organism, right? So that means they doesn't have any well-defined nucleus, right? What about kingdom Protista? Kingdom Protista are eukaryote. Here kingdom Monera, all the prokaryotes are included in the kingdom Monera. That means only one kingdom is there for prokaryotes. That's actually the kingdom Monera. Kingdom, all other kingdoms are eukaryotes. In that, unicellular eukaryotes are included in kingdom Protista. So what is their cell type? They all are eukaryote. What about kingdom Fungi? They are also eukaryote. Kingdom Plantae, eukaryote, and kingdom Animalia, that is also eukaryote. The second characteristic we are going to discuss here, that's actually the cell wall. What is their cell wall? Whether cell wall is present or not? If present, what is their chemical composition, right? Obviously, Monera, they are having cell wall, right? So kingdom Monera, the cell wall is actually made up of polysaccharides and amino acid, right? So there are actually, we have discussed in cell chapter, there are different part is there for the cell wall and all. right? So here actually you can see that it's a non-cellulosic cell wall, we can say that. It's not at all made up of cellulose. Plants, it's actually made up of cellulose. But in Monera, that is actually the prokaryote, only kingdom of prokaryotes, right? Here the cell wall is actually made up of polysaccharides and amino acid, that we can say that they are non-cellulosic in nature. What about Protista? Protista, whether cell wall is there or not? Not for all. There are some organism, right? Some Protista, they are having cell wall, but not in all Protista having cell wall, right? So very few members are having cell wall, right? Fungi, obviously they are having cell wall, but their cell wall is actually made up of chitin and other type of polysaccharides, right? So here Plantae also they are having cell wall, but fungi cell wall is actually made up of chitin. Plantae cell wall is actually cellulosic in nature, right? And what about kingdom Animalia? Obviously the cell wall is absent there. There is no cell wall for animals, right? Now we are going to discuss about the nuclear membrane. What is the nature of the nuclear membrane? Right? So here you can see that kingdom Monera, they doesn't have any well-defined nucleus. That means the nuclear membrane is absent there, right? Protista, they all are eukaryotes. Rest of the members are eukaryotes. Obviously, there must be a nuclear membrane, right? So here you can see that the Protista, they are having nuclear membrane. Kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia, they all are having nuclear membrane, right? Now, what about their body organization? If you are checking the body organization, here you can see that the prokaryotes, right, all are unicellular, right? So that means cellular level of organization is there for kingdom Monera. Protista, you can see that they are also in the cellular level. Most of them are unicellular, right? Kingdom Fungi, you can see that there will be a loose tissue, right? Multicellular, you can say that whether it is unicellular, it's not unicellular. Unicellular members are there, like yeast is there, right? Yeast, that means Saccharomyces, right? Species, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, that's our unicellular fungi. But other members are multicellular, or we can say that they are actually loosely arranged tissues. That's their body nature, right? Cellular, the body organization is actually, you can say the multicellular, or actually on a loose tissue level they can organize, right? Now what about Plantae? Plantae, obviously the cellular level, it's formed into the tissue, right? So tissue level of organization, or even somewhat we can say that organ level also we can say that. We cannot see that actually a organ is there for plants, but actually somewhat modified specified tissues are there which is performing as organ. So we can say that either tissue or organ level of organization is there for plants. What about Animalia? Obviously Animalia have that tissue level organization is there, and also you can see that organ level is there, organ system level is there, and the organism, obviously all the level of organization you can see there in the Animalia, kingdom Animalia, right? Now the last method is that characteristics is that mode of nutrition. What is the mode of nutrition among all these kingdom, right? Monera, obviously there are both, you can see that autotrophic mode of nutrition also you can see that, even heterotrophic mode of nutrition is also you can see that. Autotroph means they can make their own food, right? In that also you can see that they will use sunlight, right, or light energy for the production of their own food. Then they are photoautotrophs. If they are using chemical, right, so like that methanogens and sulfur bacteria and all, they will use chemicals for that mode of production of their energy. They can make their own energy but using chemicals. They are chemoautotrophs, right? Chemoautotrophs. So autotrophs also classified into photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs. And even you can see that heterotrophic bacteria are also there. Heterotrophic bacteria, in that there are saprophytes are there, that means those who are feeding dead and decaying material. There are parasites also there, right? So in kingdom Monera you can see both mode of nutrition, that means whether autotrophic mode of nutrition also and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Protista, most of them are autotrophs and heterotrophs, you can see that. Autotrophs in the sense you can see that for example Euglena. Euglena is a member of Protista. In that you can see that chlorophyll is there. That means whenever light availability is there, they can make their own food, right? But whenever there will be an absence of light, they will depend on the other organism. That means they will act as a predator, right? So that means it is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So in Protista we can say that autotrophs also you can see and heterotrophs also you can see. And in some organisms such as Euglena, you can see both mode of nutrition together. What about fungi? Fungi, they are heterotrophic mode of nutrition. They are following compulsory, no autotrophs are there. You can see one of the best example, mushroom. There is no green color, right? Green chlorophyll is there. They cannot perform their photosynthesis, right? So they are exclusively heterotrophic. Most of them that saprophytes and parasites. Plantae, you can see completely, right? They are autotrophs in nature. There are photosynthetic, right, organisms. They can perform their own photosynthesis. They can make their own food. Animalia, they are exclusively heterotrophs, right? That means they are following heterotrophic mode of nutrition. In that heterotrophic mode of nutrition, you can see that holozoic mode of nutrition is there, parasites are there, and saprophytes are also there. So these are the different characteristics of 5 kingdom, along which we can compare each other and we can learn. I hope it is clear for you. Thank you.